Welcome to Second Take, the show that focuses on the issues behind the news. As the world becomes more urbanized, South Africa is uniquely placed to supply the major volume of platinum metals that it will need in large quantities to clean the air. Mining Weekly editor Martin Creamer tells us more. Welcome, Martin.
Thanks, Shannon.
Now, Ivanhoe chairperson Robert Friedland said at this week's Mining in Durban that platinum metals equal healthier air. How can South Africa take advantage of that?
Well, we've got, more than 70% of the world's metals, platinum metals we're talking about, and this is something that the world needs. I mean, you've got to breathe in these big cities. And, of course, Robert Friedland flashed up, the sort of brown skies of Beijing. And he was saying, look, this is what urbanization brings. There are probably 90 to 100 million cars in China at the moment. There's going to be 400 million by 2030, all spewing out, hopefully not spewing out, but sending pollution into the air. And platinum group metals have that great magic that they can catalyze, the cleaning of exhaust fumes. So as the emission legislation strengthens, and we see China's Beijing going towards European levels of emission control, there's a demand for platinum. And that's why I think it was also brought up at the conference saying, South Africa's own emission laws should be strengthened. It's the best way for local beneficiation. If you want to beneficiate platinum, write the emission laws that all the emerging cities of the world are writing for South Africa. Why is South Africa with all the platinum not doing it? That would be a way of local beneficiation, because we already have catalytic converter manufacturing, and it could boost that for local cars. So healthier air, yes, it's going to be crucial. You can't have gas masks while you're walking through Tokyo and London. You've got to have clean air, and he's saying that this is what platinum can do, and that's a massive sales proposition. And I must say that he's a wizard of marketing. I mean, Robert Friedland, a pleasure to listen to. He has you spellbound with all the facts that he brings up that promote his metals and minerals. And he projects such a long-term fundamental growth that, it's astounding what the demand looks like when he's finished with the presentation. And it turns people, I must say, you need that sort of strong leadership to get your faith back in some of these metals that we're struggling with, here, because of the fact that labour is engaged in a way that is risky, and labour then says, look, I'm doing a fantastically tough job, and now I want something commensurate to take care of that risk. And then the companies are saying, look, you've sprung this on us. We've been giving you above inflation increases for the last 10 years. And now, you're taking this massive leap that will just knock us right out of the water. You need to be realistic, and the meeting of the minds hasn't taken place. So it puts a heck of a strain on our platinum production. We can probably get it going because we've got stockpiles and keep it going, but down the line, it's going to be hurt, which we'd hate the price to spike, because when the price spikes, people look for alternatives. It's very dangerous to allow your price to spike. So I think Labour needs to come to the party, but whether they will at this stage is a little bit doubtful. We've got this election going on. They're taking centre stage in what is a crucial part of our economy. Exports, these are real exports that go out, they affect us directly. And if we don't have them, we could find ourselves in a position like Indonesia now, where it's banned some of the exports of bauxite and nickel. And it's coming back to haunt that current account deficit. And we're already in a bad way with that. So for as long as the strike goes on, I think they said directly it is the direct figure of over 100 million rand a day is really not reflecting the full picture. It's more like 400 million rand a day that the South African economy is suffering, and we can ill afford to do it at this stage.
So it would seem that the strikes are what are going to crash this ambition then.
The strikes could make things difficult. What is keeping things going at the moment is that people are recycling platinum. Platinum is not consumed, so they bring it back into the market. They bring those catalytic converters back in, and they recycle. And as the shortage develops, you find the recycling increases. It stimulates that recycling, and that can keep things going for some time, but certainly not forever.
Now, on a more positive note, South Africa is uniquely placed for the upcoming fuel cell era.
Well, this is something that he really promoted, and I think he's promoted it now. He's taken up the baton from Cynthia Carroll. She said we've got this massive window of opportunity. We need to plunge into it to get into fuel cells. The world is moving towards fuel cells, and we know in the background things are happening. Sort of a public-private partnership, studying up those fuel cells. But whether we'll be able to grasp this opportunity or not is a moot point. But there is this opportunity for us to manufacture fuel cells which will dovetail so beautifully with the supply and potential supply of platinum group metals that we have. And fuel cells are on such a maiden spread because they take like 30 grams. Even a small compact car takes 30 grams of platinum metals. And against the thrifting that's been going on with the autocatalytic converters, the petrol car is down to 1.5 grams or something to that effect, and a diesel a bit more. But this fuel cell is a massive opportunity, and it only uses platinum, which is so fantastic. And hopefully we can twin the two. We've got this fantastic resource, and now we can get the manufacturing opportunity, which we've always wanted to dovetail the two. This is a huge opportunity, but I don't see any champions coming forward, which is, it'll be an opportunity lost if we don't get this fuel cell, because we only hear from Robert Friedland these days about the progress on the fuel cell, and you see it's not something that they talk about as they used to in the past. You'd go to a presentation by one of the big platinum super majors, and they would say, in the next 5 years we'll have fuel cells, and then the next year they'd say the same thing. In the next 5 years we'll have fuel cells. 5 years later they'd say the next 5 years. It's happening. You can see that car manufacturers are actually commercializing this as we speak, and it can only grow bigger because the only byproduct is water, and so it's very benign as a reliable provider of automotive power. It's got the range that you need, bigger than the battery, and in colder countries it gives you heat. So it gives you heat at the same time. Whereas if you're using a battery car, you might want to take the heat, which would take that heat from your battery's power. Yes. So you'd lose out there. So there's a lot of advantages, huge advantages with fuel cells, and in the automotive side it could be fantastic, and it could go further. It could go into power generation. It could go into industry in a big way. Those fuel cells, and the platinum that it would use would boost our economy here, no end, because we are the real custodian of all those platinum treasures. But we've got to watch out because Zimbabwe's coming up. North America will also pop up with its contributions.
Well, thank you very much, Martin.
It's a great pleasure, Shannon.
That's the show for today. Join us again next time for more news and insight into what's happening in the mining world.